start.
I did it. I followed your directions. I'm a good girl. Please don't punish me.
Everybody knows that I'm a good girl, officer.
Need a good girl to blow your mind. Yeah, yeah. Come into my Sorry, that's.
Come all over you. I let you have it.
Anyway, really hope that's not the cold open. Well, butter my biscuits. It's another episode of Closing Shift. Welcome back.
Oh my god, it's the 46th inaugural episode.
The 46th inaugural one, huh?
Not what inaugural means, but yeah.
Yes, it's like super not what it means, but yeah. Welcome back to the 46th girl episode. I'm Cosmic Emerald, that's Rotting Coffee, and we're your hosts.
I'm not in the best headspace.
Yes, Mia has been sick for a little while. How long's that been going on?
About a week ago.
Fuck with us, and now we tweaking, ho.
Tweaking, ho. Actually, when did I get sick? I guess it would be like last Thursday, and now we're recording this on a Tuesday, so.
Yes, we're recording this episode 2 days after our normal day, because Mia wasn't in a good place for that on Sunday.
I'm barely alive today.
Yes, but we do it for you. We all do this for you. The entire Closing Shift team.
Do it for love.
We all do it for you.
Everybody here at the office, we're all here just trying to put on the best show for you.
We should just, totally fake having a company for, new listeners and just see if they believe us.
That'd be a pretty fun gaslight.
Even though our stats are shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you can run a company off of 10 views. Who knew?
But anyways.
Anyway, you and me, we got some things we need to speak about.
Yes.
I have our week's opening question. Not a very smart one. I racked my sickly brain as best as I could. I think I've lost oxygen to my brain and it's reduced my mental capacity. But here's our opening question for the week. So, you are going to a family reunion where everybody is expecting you to bring your new partner, who everybody thinks is going to be the best, and they need to make the greatest first impression to your family. But who is your new partner that is going to make the best impression for your family reunion? Mario or Luigi?
Okay. Mario, probably. He's more out there. Luigi's a giant pussy, so probably Mario. Because then I could be he fights dragons.
Yeah, it's a big turtle. He sent him into the lava.
My grandson saved the Mushroom Kingdom.
It really depends on your family, though, for this, first impression, because some families are they might see Mario and they'd be like, oh, he's overly confident. He's too headstrong. He's too much of his own man. He doesn't need you. He's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Always on his adventures. But Luigi, he's a more soft, sensitive type, and that just might be what your family, finds value in. He's like, oh, he's got a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's a sweet boy. He'll treat you right.
I guess. It's more it is about the impression he makes, whoever my partner is, but I think my family, because, I'll usually be like, I can't wait for you to meet him. There's only one partner I had that I brought to my family, and they didn't like her because she was a psychopath. I didn't like her either. I think I've talked about that before.
Brought her home in a cardboard box, and they're like, she's going to the shelter tomorrow.
She's going to the ward. She needs help. Yeah, well, Mario's just more extroverted, I feel like. I feel like he'd start up a conversation with my family members,
He can get along with anybody.
I feel like he could really vibe with anybody.
I guess if you're, in a family of, people who are, big talkers and big kind of, all about fun and very, very outward-going people.
Egotistical.
Yeah. if you're in, a bit of a more rambunctious, louder family, Mario is definitely going to slip into that group very easily. If that's your family dynamic, Mario would be the way to go there.
If Mario has the status he has socially and comes and is my partner, I don't even want to. I'm not going to the reunion because they're going to be say the thing.
Yeah, might as well bring fucking President Obama.
I would bring Obama to a family reunion. Are you fucking kidding me? I'd be like, look what the cat dragged in.
Is that Obama?
My partner, Barack Lesnar. That's how Paul Heyman used to say it. Sounds like he's saying Barack.
Now, who would you bring to family reunion as your new partner?
Don't even do it.
Mario or Paul Heyman?
Like me right now in my life and the way my family is right now.
Who are you bringing?
Because I'm not bringing a real life man who's old as fuck, and I'm not doing that. I'd rather bring Mario.
Think about how well he'd get along with your parents.
He would be able to analyze everything about my parents from one conversation psychologically.
He is the wise man.
He's like he's one of the smartest people in wrestling history, like ever. He's called so much shit, like preemptively. He's like the Simpsons to wrestling. He's predicted so much shit. Like the way WCW crumbled in the 90s, he said like years before it happened exactly how it would happen, and it did.
I feel like Paul Heyman is the guy you bring around to the family reunion if your family expected you to be like a doctor or something. So they're like, oh, at least like somebody that you're attached to is successful and smart. It cancels out the disappointment with somebody who's actually competent.
That's probably like, I would not mind if I brought like a partner to a family dinner or something and was like, he's got 7 PhDs, by the way, and he likes me. So that just goes to show you, I can have intelligent conversation. Because I just have a tough time. I mean, dating, I don't even want to talk about dating, but it's just annoying to do. I'm not in a place in my life where I can tolerate men anymore. I've actually been pushed far from it by men themselves. I can't do it. I don't understand it.
But I'm such a Giga Chad.
I'm like borderline considering changing my sexual identity because of it. Like I'm actually like concerned about it now because they just annoy me so much. And I'm sure if I found the right man that like was meant for me,
the hey man,
it would like be a match made in heaven and I'd be absolutely head over heels for him. But let's
be realistic.
I don't even know if I want it anymore. Let's be realistic. You've only got 7 years till the wheels fall off.
Your biological clock is ticking, honey.
What are you going to do after all those hormones hit your body? What are you going to do? Men are going to think you're icky.
I became unlovable after 40.
Nah, man, I love being injected with estrogen every day. It's awesome.
The titties be popping off.
I still love it. It's not even that. I got like hair growing less in some places. I got a more feminine like outlook on life. It really changes your perspective.
Yeah.
It's very girly and cool. And I'm more like sensitive to stuff.
Your hormones are in big control of like your emotional regulation.
Yeah, not to mention how unregulated my emotions are usually without drugs.
Drogas.
I have bipolar disorder and anxiety and depression and OCD and ADHD.
And
got a lot of D's going on.
There's a lot of D's, a lot of disorders.
And the last one is yo mama bouncing on my dick. That's the last D.
What about 1D? Were you ever into One Direction? Is that ever a thing for you?
That they were happening around a time where like boy bands were gay if you were a guy.
Of course.
Like you can't listen to them because you're gay if you listen to them. And for me,
which just to be clear, you are.
I was really insecure. Yeah, like to be clear, that's not actually what we think. Like I understand the boy band craze. Like I was into several Justin songs, and I was into like 2 One Direction songs.
Oh, I loved Justin Bieber as a kid.
Whoa, no.
What? Can I not say that when I was like 12 years old, I was like, baby, baby, baby.
I thought you were saying
no, not like
him.
that. You freaking gay-bo.
Like I liked stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, this is such a cute song, but I had really toxically masculine friends, and I was really insecure about my fragile masculinity. Well, really, it was more like I was insecure about forcing masculinity on myself because I was taught that was the only way in life. And that sucks. Don't do that to your
Yeah.
children. That's fucked up. Let them know that they can be themselves, and that's okay.
I remember being like 7 years old and having to feign disinterest in Dora because like, no, that show has a girl.
Gay.
Yeah,
no, there was some stuff like that. Like I wanted to play with Bratz dolls, and like I wanted to play house and stuff with my sisters and cousins, but they didn't let me because the other toxic side of it was they didn't let me because I was a boy.
Ew.
And I remember looking at my mom when this was happening and like being angry at her for not stopping it. But I don't know how old I was. I was probably anywhere from like 9 to, well, I was gonna say 9 to 11. I was probably anywhere from those ages.
You know, what an unfortunate range of ages for two numbers to be so close to each other.
It just probably was around that time. 8 to 11. I'll say 8 to 11.
The numbers 9 to 11 happen so often.
Yeah, but I like wanted to play with them, and they like, you know, cootied me out of their group because there was 4. That's the only
No boys.
That's the only family of kids we had was 4 girls and me, who was a girl that just didn't get to be one and wasn't allowed to be one. So they like kicked me out of their room and like shut the door and wouldn't let me in. So I went and cried into my pillow, and then my mom, I think like forced them to let me hang out with them, but I didn't even want to at that point because I was embarrassed, even though it was my family. So that was what growing up was like for me. If one of the most cap sentences I've ever heard from my parents, and I love my parents, don't get me wrong, I appreciate them a lot, but one of the most cap sentences I've ever heard, and this was when I was like 22, this is like a few years ago, or 21 rather, they were like, you know, if you had told us when you were a kid, like you were feeling this way, you were feeling feminine, you wanted to be a woman, we would have like 100% supported you. I'm like, no, you fucking wouldn't have.
No fucking way.
You conservative ass hypocrites. Don't ever say that shit to me again. Don't ever lie to my face like that again. They absolutely would not have. I believe that 110%. Don't even like lie to me. You cannot fib that hard and like expect me to believe you.
Or you're gonna tell me in fucking like 2012 American politics that you would have been so progressive on trans issues?
You're gonna tell me in like 2006 that I like could have told you that and you would have been, no, you fucking wouldn't have, because you know why? Because you sent me down the pipeline of being a man so hard that I didn't even get a chance to think stuff like that. Even though I was trained literally like a child. I'm so dumb. I meant like a pet. I was trained like a pet
What's
to
the
like
difference?
follow their orders so heavily that I was so opposed to like fighting them on issues like that until I was already like 22. You know, it's just so.
I think there is an interesting like social thing happening within that of it being like being younger and wanting to socialize with like women around you. And like wanting to hang out with girls when
I've
you're
always gravitated towards women more.
Yeah, it's like
girls.
That thing of like there's an interesting dilemma happening there. Or I guess like this weird divergence in why those behaviors happen of like exclusion. Whereas I feel like for young boys excluding girls from their space, that it's more in like that's coming more from a place of aggression of like girls have cooties, girls are gay, that kind of shit. That's like girls are lame, they can't hang with us. That's where that comes from. But on the flip side of girls saying boys can't hang with us is more of like a defensive thing, like knowing that like boys entering their space would in turn denigrate the space because the boys couldn't be chill and couldn't be trusted within those groups. Like completely different reasons for like excluding each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably several like reasons that lie on both sides, because it's, you know, it's like for me, I mean, I can't tell you why people excluded me, because I wasn't in their heads, not in their heads. But also excluding people like that and not giving them a chance is bullying, at least at times. If somebody is like asking in a very chill way to like hang out with you, you know, I just think people should get more of a chance to express themselves directly in general around whoever. I'm not just saying with like friends at like school or whatever. I'm just saying like a lot of people just get like Like, just stop fucking assuming based on what people look like who they are. Like,
Real shit.
fucking stop that shit. It's just like, if you want to know how to refer to somebody, ask what their name is, ask what their pronouns are. That is so not hard to do.
It's the most basic shit. Yeah, it's like your parents saying back in 2006 we would have been asking you your fucking pronouns.
Fucking for real. Like, how was I supposed to know that was an option, man? They were like, well, as soon as you're, old enough and able, we got to get you into sports.
That's just what you gotta do to not be a fucking pussy.
I was like, I don't want to play sports. And they were like, well, if you play sports, you'll make more friends probably. Guess how many friends I ever made in sports? Zero. I never made one fucking friend from any of the sports I played. I'm not even kidding. I played sports from ages like 8 to 14 or 15. I never made one single friend I kept after I stopped playing sports.
It's best for your social development if all of your friends have CTEs.
Have what?
CTEs.
What are those?
Brain damage.
Oh, I got a concussion playing football when I was 11, and I have MS, so...
The amount of restraint in my bones to not just go, I can tell.
Yeah, well, that's not really fair, because you know.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell.
It's like the meanest thing you could say. Just like, oh, I can tell you had a concussion. You're fucking stupid.
Yeah. Wow, biggest shocker of the century.
What's wrong with you? Is your brain full of holes?
I used to, I don't know. There was a time where I was chill being like the guy that I was being. But again, it's like when I was 18, I started exploring that feminine side of myself. And then my parents, again, immediately shut that down. So I went right back to being a man. Right back to it. It took me moving out of their house for the first time. And I only lived out of their house that time for like 2 months. But just in that 2 months, I immediately started to see that I was trans. Like, just in that 2 months. And then I came back home. Like 8 months later, I came out as trans. That whole year was a nightmare because I had to live in that house with those people, be transphobed every day, be judged, be asked to change clothes if I was wearing something remotely feminine. And then it took me moving out again to once again realize who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Stop mentally tormenting children over their identity. It's so stupid.
Leave those kids alone.
Just because you like read the Bible that Trump wrote, like,
oh my god, the fucking Trump Bible.
It's just like, you guys are so fucking stupid. I just want you to know that. That is the thing that pisses me off, number one, about you Trump supporters. You are just actually all stupid.
It is a strange thing to try and have any interaction with people who are so completely, like, devoid of reality at this point.
Yeah, that is odd.
Like, there's one thing of, like, for the first few years of it just being, like, follower mentality, of it being, like, they always vote red, they're gonna vote red, so that's always, like, who they'll just support blindly. But then you get to the point now where it's like, no, you know what's going on, and you're still, like, chill with it, is, like, the most fucked thing.
I didn't mean for this episode to get so politically heated. I'm sorry about that.
Fucking trauma dumping, talking about politics, what next?
Yeah, been playing a lot of Fortnite recently.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, I got the Fortnite passes for this season, and it's really fun. And I'm actually working on my skill in OG Fortnite with building, and I'm actually getting better at it. It's fun.
Didn't they add a thing for like easier editing?
They did. I turned that on. It's actually nice.
Yeah,
I've gotten used to using that feature, and also just building. I changed my weapon hotkeys to not be specific things. They're just 1 through 6 now, and I got used to that as well.
Hockey? What are you, Naruto?
And made my building hotkeys specific stuff, so it's easier to build. And I now 2 days in a row have won my first game of the day, and then I don't think a single game after that during the entire day I win, but I win my first games of the day somehow.
I've been doing a little bit of gaming in my sick time. Not much, but been trying to do like a little bit just to, keep my brain engaged, just to try to keep myself awake and like not going insane. Cause I go crazy when I can't stream for more than like 2 days. Like that's the shit that I love to do. That's the shit that passes time for me. That's the all-American pastime. So when I can't do that for a few days, it's fucking miserable. So I've been trying to do like anything else in that time, and I've been trying to get set up for the Souls Marathon I want to do in January, which I did earlier this year, this January. I did where I just played through the Souls games in order, just, pretty standard. But I wanted to do something different for next year's. And there's a randomizer called Archipelago that what it lets you do is randomize items across games, and you can even do that in a multiplayer capacity. So, like, there's a great Majin Phil video where he's playing Ocarina of Time, and he's, like, playing simultaneously with somebody playing Dark Souls 3, and they're both finding items for each other's games within, like, Ocarina of Time, Dark Souls 3, playing simultaneously. It's great. I've been trying to get that set up for Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3, which only exists for Dark Souls 1 in, like, a beta capacity. And I feel like a fucking rocket scientist trying to get that shit to work. It is the weirdest, most, like, I feel like it's almost like an 80s fucking computer terminal, the, like, GUI that they have for Archipelago. It has this, like, beautiful ass website that's, like, set up to be, like, so, like, stylized and nice to look at. And, like, all like, yeah, gaming, modern gaming experience. And then you actually use the software and the services, and it's like, okay, now here's Oregon Trail.
Huh.
So that's been a lot of my week with being sick and trying to keep myself busy.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that much besides gaming, I don't think. Slept really late the last 2 days. Not intentionally, not really wanted, but I mostly just keep waking up and hopping on the old computer.
Hey kid, I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Help computer.
Besides going to work, which is the other thing I do.
I actually did, weirdly enough, a fair amount of cooking in my sick time, because I just didn't want, like, you know, random bullshit go from the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if I'm gonna be getting, you know, because, like, being sick, being tired, like, my appetite wasn't great initially, and I was eating, like, 1 time a day, so I was like, I better make it fucking worth it. So I ended up making my own recipes for garlic bread and tomato soup that are both pretty decent, and I made it, like, 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
Both, like, like, cheap as hell to make. Super easy to make, and it was just, like, it's the perfect thing that I could just, like, throw together, have a big, hearty meal before passing the fuck out. But now I have a newfound appreciation for how easy it is to make garlic bread and dipping that in tomato soup. It was fucking, that shit was A1. Probably keep doing it even after I'm sick, because it's just like a good-ass meal and was super fucking easy.
Yeah, that.
Last night I made my own chicken noodle soup. That was also fucking easy as hell and real nice. It's like the first time that I've, like, most of the time when I, like, wing a recipe, it's stuff that I'm throwing together on the stove. You know, like, stuff that I don't really have to worry too much about the temperature, because it's all going in a pot, and you can kind of mix and mingle and do whatever. So going in, like, a pot or a pan, you don't have to worry too much about whatever, because you can, like, watch it and monitor and make little changes. But for the garlic bread, that was, like, the first time that I've, like, made something, and I was like, fuck it, try this temperature for this time. Like, no point of reference, just try these 2 fucking variables, and it just worked. I was like, my intuition, it's growing. I'm gaining the 6th sense.
True.
I get asked often by my family. Usually it's like my mom who will ask, like, for, like, cooking advice of things, or saying, like, you know, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to do, like, this or that. It's like, you know how you do it? You fucking do it. And then you make a shit ton of mistakes, and then you just don't make those mistakes again. You just, like, try a bunch of shit, and then you see what works. I can't fucking instill knowledge into your brain of how to fucking season whatever, because it's based on your own tastes. And it's, like, different recipe to recipe. That's like the thing that a lot of people who can't cook can't seem to grasp, is that, like, you don't just know how to season stuff. Like, there's not, like, one thing you can just learn and just know. It's like, oh, that's how you do it. Like, it's different for literally everything, and you just have to try. It's not like a fucking, like, cheat code. I don't know why that's a very difficult thing for non-cooking people to grasp. It's like, there isn't, like, it's like literally everything is different. There's not a universal answer for all this shit. Cooking is easy. Just try it.
I feel like I should ask you, as, like, a psychiatrist, are you thinking about hurting yourself or others based on how angry you sound?
It's always, like, it's a thing that infuriates me with a lot of my family, is that, like, there's a level of incompetence that comes from a lack of trying. That's like, of course you don't know how to fucking do it because you don't try to do it. And if you just tried to do it, you would know how to do it, but you don't want to try because you don't know. So you're in this fucking endless loop where you don't learn and you don't try to learn. Just fucking do.
Well, maybe if you weren't so fucking smart, people wouldn't be coming to you for the answers. Maybe cook in private if you don't want people to see all your skill and ask questions. Damn.
Being competent is a fucking curse. Don't let anybody ever know you're competent.
I don't have that problem because I live with somebody who actually cooks. First of all, I don't cook. Second of all, I live with somebody who does cook. I also just, I very explicitly establish a common ground of respect on certain matters when it's there. It's not like I'm better at you than this thing, so you need to respect that, and I don't need to respect you. It's more so, because I don't know. I guess I'm just competent. I don't get it. I don't have people. I mean, sometimes I more so get like insensitive comments or anything like that towards me. It's not like dumb questions. I just get like dumb comments.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's questions. I can't think of the last thing I've been asked though that I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Probably Chandler like asking where his file explorer is or some shit. I don't know.
Imagine having a fucking, what is it, like, he has a 3090, right?
He has, I think it's a 3070.
Still, a fucking 30 series, and it's like, where's File Explorer?
Exactly. Bro built his PC and doesn't know he can right-click his desktop to make a new document.
Literally, like, one time I was trying to help my dad with something on his laptop, and there was, like, a file that he needed to go to that was, like, in Windows File Explorer, and he already had File Explorer open, like, 2 other times. And instead of clicking on the desktop icon for File Explorer to go to File Explorer and look at the thing, he went into the Windows search bar and typed File Explorer and opened it from there to open a third window.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. That's the other thing also with similar to cooking that's like I get asked by my family to like certain things like, oh, you know how to use a computer, you know how to fucking cook. It's like, yeah, because I use those things. Like I can't teach, like that's the thing. You can't teach somebody how to use a computer. Like you can't just like instill that in somebody. You have to know how to like navigate the computer to do shit. It isn't like a one size fits all thing, but just like seasoning food, it's like, no, there isn't like a magic secret code to the fucking computer that like makes it work. You have to know what the fucking File Explorer icon looks like. Also, while talking about cooking shit, I've gotten push notifications on my phone from Blue Sky of Schultzman asking me about my garlic bread. Good timing.
That's the Schultzman way.
That's the real shit. Dude, this is like last thing I'll say about like food and cooking shit, because I'm like dominating this episode with food and cooking shit at this point. Like, if you just need cheap, good, hearty food, you can get like a whole ass French loaf of bread. It's like 2 feet long, and it'll make like enough food to last you a fucking week, whatever you want to make with it. You can get it for like $1.50 at Walmart. Just huge ass loaf of French bread. And you can make so much good shit with it that feels fancy because it's a French loaf. It's not just white bread. But it's like, I was shocked to learn how cheap a loaf of French bread is. Like, the first time I saw one, and like we got it to like make garlic bread or whatever for like a meal. And I was like, dude, it's like a fucking $1 for this gigantic loaf of bread. You could live off of that shit. Your turn.
Okay. I live off of the shit I can afford when I go to the store. I can only make a plan sometimes ahead of time. I'll make a list and I go to the store like it's Black Friday every time I go. I gotta like make sure I get the right stuff that's on the good sales.
You go to the store like you're playing fucking Tarkov.
I just gotta make sure, I gotta make sure I get the right stuff. I try to buy the most like bulk shit for the cheapest prices. The stuff I know will last me but will be good and I will not get tired of as quickly. And also the essentials. Like if I need any kind of like toiletries or anything, bathroom stuff. If I need creamer for my coffee.
That's a real like neurodivergent superpower, is not getting sick of certain foods.
Yeah.
If you get like hooked onto like whatever, like especially fixated on like if one of your safe foods, if you're like particularly sensitive to different stuff, if you're like a bit picky or whatever, you have like food sensitivities, if you get attached,
or if you're ugly.
If you get attached to like a cheap ass bulky food, you're in the clear for life.
Yeah. I've been in the clear. I've been living out of my parents' house for over 2 years now, and I know what I like from the store. I knew what I liked from the store before I left anyway. Now I just buy it on my own.
The real secret to life is having the diet of a medieval peasant.
I just don't, I don't need, my goal when I buy food is like, what is going to sustain me and fill my stomach? Because during the work week, I can eat some food from work, so that's a little bit less worrying. But I also have to be like, what can I eat? Because some of the food at work will make my stomach hurt. I can't always rely on it. I also need to have food here at home in case. I usually buy like different kinds of rice that I can heat up in like a bag and put stuff in like butter or soy sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
I also like getting instant mashed potatoes just because it's really filling and it's really easy. I usually get a 12-pack of ramen because that's like $4. And freezer foods I like range from anything like waffles to sausage biscuits to Hot Pockets to almost chicken anything. I like taquitos. I like corn dogs. There's plenty of shit I like. That's all just so fire, and it's all I need.
You know, it's a little bit harder to find with it being the holiday season, but I'll fuck up like anything that's like turkey. I love like turkey is my go-to meat choice.
I also love turkey.
Turkey is the fucking shit. It's always been my shit.
Escape from turkey.
What's your thoughts on ham?
I like ham.
I think ham's good, but I'm not always
I like ham a lot, actually.
What do you think of ham as like a lunch meat, as like a cold cut?
I fuck with it. I usually get ham on my subs.
I don't really fuck with ham on a cold cut. Real shit. It's always like kind of tough, and I don't like the whatever like tough spots that like you always end up getting in ham.
One of my fucking jams is a grilled ham and cheese sandwich. That shit fucks.
I like, you know, it's like you can't ever, like, with cold cut ham, it never pulls apart the way that, like, turkey will. If I get, like, a ham sandwich, a whole fucking slice of ham is coming off when I try and take a bite. That shit's getting dragged out of the sandwich like my grandma's bumper in a parking lot, which did happen recently. A fucking car sideswiped her and fucking dragged her bumper off.
Dang. R.I.P. that bumper.
I went to, like, I had to take her to an appointment and I drove her car. It was like, oh, and the entire back seat, hey, poking up right behind my fucking headrest is her bumper.
That's pretty silly.
Pretty silly. I have a segment for us today, very similar to the one I did last week. Very, very similar in principle, in structure, in execution, which is another variation of...
Jerry, executioner.
It's another variation of Save the Date, where I have an image here printed in a newspaper, the same newspaper, actually, because this is one of the only papers from the time that would actually print images, because, you know, that was like the fancy thing at the time. It was like, oh, you could print a picture in the paper. This is from the December 17th installation of the Imperial Valley Press. What I have for you here is an image, and I'm going to need you to guess the censored information within the image. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right, here's your censored image. This article reads, "This baby was sold for blank dollars." Robert Milton Burton, 2 months old, was sold for blank dollars before he was born. His parents, John and Phyllis Burton of Cleveland, promised to let a woman adopt him if she would advance that sum. They said they could not afford to keep him, but after the matter came to attention of Judge George S. Adams, a witness testified the Burtons wanted the amount to pay on an automobile. They deny this. The court ordered them to take the baby back again. My question to you: how much was this baby sold for in 1924?
With the centering of the text, I'm gonna assume this is a 3-digit number because of the spacing.
How do you know I didn't add to that?
How do I know you didn't move the dollar
I
sign?
have many tricks. How do you know that I didn't shift the text spacing? I didn't, but...
Yeah, it doesn't look like you fucking did. That's why.
Oogly boo.
Don't be all fucking maniacal. I'm already playing your game. So I'm gonna, because of this centering. I'm gonna just go with a 3-digit number. I'm also gonna go with either a number that ends in 50 or 2 zeros, just because that keeps it a little easier. Sold before he was born.
Let me get an inflation calculator up going on here for your answer, so we can get like a little bit of a metric of how much this baby would have been sold for in today's money. So give me your guess, and we will calculate it. Price of a baby.
I'll throw out. Could it be a 4-digit number? Maybe. If it's like a lot of thin numbers, like 1. I'll just throw out 1K. I'll say $1,000.
$1,000 in 1924 money. That is your guess?
Yes.
So that would come out today at the inflation rate from 1924 to 2024. That would come out to $18,449 in today's money. that they would have sold this baby for.
Mm-hmm.
And that is your final guess. Are you ready for the actual answer?
Yeah.
Here it is. They sold this baby for $48, which in today's money comes out to $885 comparative value. 48 smackaroonies. You could get a fucking
Damn.
$2 tip if you paid with a 50.
That must be why the baby's so horrified. It's not even like a real amount.
Did the $50 bill even exist in 1924?
I don't fucking know. What, I look like the money professor?
When was the $50 bill made? 1914.
So yes, it did.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day, huh?
People in 1913 be like, ugh, I guess here's 2 20s and a 10. Actually, when did the $20 bill even come around? Now I gotta know. You know what? Here, a little extension of the segment because it's also historically relevant. What year do you think the $20 bill went into circulation? Bonus points, bonus round.
1905.
Wrong. 1861.
Great.
Now,
Fascinating, even.
another additional one, because this is something that people never know that even existed. When do you think the $1,000 bill was created?
What?
Yes, there was a $1,000 bill. And also, temporarily, $5,000 and $10,000 bills that were immediately discontinued. Very short print, but it did exist. When was the $1,000 bill first put into print?
I don't fucking know, man. 1956.
Wrong. It first existed from 1861, and then it ended in 1934.
Oh, it took that long, huh?
Yeah, they were like, we don't need $1,000 bills anymore after 1934.
Well, ain't that something?
They did a recall for them in 1969 that they were like, please give these back because we don't really want these in circulation, but you can still pay with it as legal tender. To this day, it will still be accepted if you have a $1,000 bill. Although it might be worth even more just as a collector's thing as opposed to its actual value as tender. Oh my god, I can't speak. Value as tender. Moral of the story, human life is worth $48.
Truly. I mean, it might as well be.
How much would you want to be sold as a baby?
$49.
I want to one-up this baby.
I feel like I pack $1 worth more of a punch.
I had an extra 2 hairs on my head.
What about you? What's your price?
You know what? I was born kind of fucked up, so I don't think I'd sell for $48. I think it'd be like a $30 baby. I was born like half asphyxiating in purple and shit. I don't think I'd fetch a high price.
I heard I was easygoing as a birth, so maybe even bump it up to 60.
I got so many fucking skin problems. My skin's still purple to this day.
I have some skin issues. My hands get patchy sometimes. I had to buy like different gloves to wear in the kitchen I work at.
I have a weird thing happening where my skin would be almost entirely red and completely like irritated and red all over, except that it looks normal in certain spots where it's just like normal white. But the only reason why it's normal white in those spots and not red is because I have vitiligo, which is an immune disorder which attacks the pigmentation of your skin. So I have like, you can see it best on my elbows, where you can see like, I have a lot of like red. Like that's where it's like very deep red is like on my upper arms. But then there's just these patches of like normal white, but that's not normal white. That's depigmented white that makes it look normal. It looks like there's nothing, like there's not an irritation there, but there is, but it's just been sapped away with the color. So it's like, it's fucking, my body's playing Splatoon.
That's tough.
It's an interesting time. It also means I have like a panda bear kind of thing going on, like a reverse panda bear where my whole face is red except for around my eyes.
I had a nice thing recently where the sun brought out some freckles I have across my like nose in the middle of my face. That was cute.
Good shit.
In general, I've been feeling cute lately because I started wearing started wearing most of my makeup without having to do too much. I don't have to like do all of it to make
You don't have to do a rosy cheek look in the winter. That just happens.
To make it look good. I just can I can like go big on the eye stuff and then just kind of like finish my face off, and it's sick.
It is pretty sick to just finish on your face.
I usually do go ham on my eyes most of all. And then I just add like a touch of like contour or blush to my cheeks, and I will also put lipstick on.
Aside from it just being a good, responsible thing in the holiday season, where, of course, like, everybody gets sick in the holiday season. I got sick in the holiday season. I even got a flu shot this year and I got sick, because I think it's just a normal cold, whatever. But this is the time of year where you should be masking the most. And it is very convenient if you're going to be masking that you only have to do, like, makeup from, like, the nose up, like, cheekbones up.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much you'd save on makeup every year if you just masked. Be responsible. Don't get sick this holidays, even especially if you're traveling. Don't get sick, or you'll end up like me, where you lay in bed all day, watching Northern Lion play The Bazaar, and then falling asleep randomly every 2 hours.
Yep, closing shift is about as exciting as it gets on Spotify and YouTube. I mean, I don't do that much either. If you live the life of me, then that's making sure you fall asleep within a certain time window so you can wake up at a normal time, even though you're probably going to wake up way early before the sun even rises, and you feel energized enough for an entire day off of 4 hours of sleep, and you drink like 2 or 3 cups of coffee to make it through the entire day anyway, and you can sustain like freezer food mostly, and you also just play video games otherwise.
I did have one interesting occurrence happen to me the day before I got sick, where I had quite the encounter in a Popeyes drive-thru.
What was that?
Let me tell you about my experience here. This Popeyes has always pissed me off. They are always on some bullshit where they like will just, for some reason, they speak a whole other fucking language that isn't like English. They like you say your fucking like order to them, and they think you're speaking an alien language. Like they like, for some reason, no matter how much you say it, there's always gonna be something that they like just don't hear. They just don't understand. And then they'll just like fuck up random parts of the order. They always piss me off at this Popeyes, but we went through there for lunch for one of my grandma's appointments last week. And I was giving them the order for my grandma's thing, very simple order, and then like had to repeat that like twice. I was like, give me this combo with red beans and rice and a Diet Coke. And they're like, all right, completely different combo with coleslaw. It's like, no, where the fuck did you get coleslaw from? Like, that was the first warning shot that this wasn't going to be a normal time trying to go through this drive-thru. Finally got, like, that order, like, recognized correctly. Started ordering my thing. I wanted the fucking seafood combo with also red beans and rice. I had to repeat myself 3 fucking times. Like, at the end of it, I was like shout enunciating it. Just be like, the number 7. You want the number 2? The number 7. All right, number 2 with coleslaw. 7. And finally, I said, no, the number 7. And the lady behind the fucking speaker, she goes, well, why didn't you just say that? I could not fucking believe my ears.
Pretty fucked up.
After, like, at that point, after she said that, is when I started, like, yell enunciating. Okay, so that with red beans and rice. Okay. Is that all? Yes. Anything else? No. You just asked me that. Fucking, like, insane for somebody else to just, like, mishear you, like, 3 times and then sass you for it. Like, why did, like, I looked to my grandma, we looked at each other in shock. We were like, there's no fucking way. It's like the only time I have ever in my life raised my voice at a service worker. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I the one having the misunderstanding? Is there like some fucking alien filter happening on this speaker where the number 7 sounds like 2? And then I got sick the next day, so it's probably some fucking cosmic retribution for being loud at a service worker. She was fucking rude.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was somebody else at the window who actually handed us the order. Oh, and the other thing, too, is that she didn't fucking turn off, like, the microphone after we, like, finished the order. So she was like, yeah, so I made one of their drinks small, one of them large, because they didn't specify what size they wanted. It's like, why if we didn't say what sizes we wanted for drinks, why would you automatically make them different sizes? Weird fucking time in that drive-thru. Might be the last time I go through that Popeyes.
I don't know. That's pretty crazy. I don't know the last time I had a fast food experience that was like bad, I guess. I mean, most of the customer service I interact with is at stores, not restaurants. So, and thankfully, I usually always run into nice people at those. Except for, oh my God, when I pick up an order at my local Best Buy, I am so done with that shit because it always comes down to my gender for some reason.
Oh my
when
God.
I'm picking up the fucking order. Like, last time I went, not last time, but like the second to last time, I was like picking up an order and the man, I was like, where's the order pickup line? And he was like, it's right over here, ma'am. I mean, sir. I mean, ma'am. And he just started fumbling. I was like, dude, stop. Just
oh my God.
Stop trying to refer to me, please. And the order pickup went fine besides that, I think. But the last time I got some clearly does not work at Best Buy because he interacts with technology. He just works there. And I don't know what he was on, but I've never had an issue with this before. But since the name on my ID is not Emmy, he was like, first of all, just like had a problem like with the pickup person's name being Emmy and the name on the ID not being Emmy. Again, this has never been an issue because not only is there a name to identify me, but a picture as well.
God, imagine getting fucking profiled at a Best Buy.
And he said something along the lines of like, next time you should get an ID with that name on it. I'm like, yeah, so easy, bro.
Yeah, you want to fucking fill it all out for me?
Yeah, how do you, yeah, where's the ID store? Where's the legal change your name store? Where's that? Is that around here? I was like, thanks for my fucking headphones. Get the fuck away from me.
It's the most fucking archaic thing in the world that in a lot of parts of America, like most parts of America, if you want to change your legal name on your ID, you have to get it published in the fucking paper that you're changing your name.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a public notice in the fucking newspaper.
You have to do that where I am.
It's the wackiest shit.
It's stupid.
It's like there's 2 million people living in this fucking county. Like I don't think I need to alert my fucking presence. Nobody even reads the paper. Like, what does this do for anybody? Like, that feels like the kind of policy that existed when you had to have your fucking name in a phone book.
Probably was.
Like, back when you used to have, like, when they used to actually say, like, Mrs. Terwilliger is back in town from her trip to Europe. That's newsworthy. She's back in town. Dumb shit.
Yeah. I will probably never go to that Best Buy again unless I have to.
I did have a good customer service experience the day after that, though, because my grandma had another appointment the day after, which also I was in a fucking car for like 7.5 hours on that day. And it probably accelerated me being sick, because that was the day before I got sick, was when we went to Cracker Barrel for lunch, because we were in like a whole other part of town, which was like, God, that was so much fucking driving on that day. I hate driving. But we went to Cracker Barrel for lunch, and the cashier, as we were checking out, I was the one who went and checked out so my grandma could go look at some stuff in the gift shop. And I did get hard sirred. Wasn't like the best thing. But like the lady who was the cashier, she had like full like goth makeup, black hair. Everything was so fucking cute. And she was so nice and so like just such a like bright, wonderful personality behind that thing that it like
I love that.
It like almost erased the Popeye shit from the day before. I was like, oh my God, this is the fucking like sweetest human being who is talking to me right now. She was like wonderful.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was like highlight of customer service of the week compared to the day before being the low light of my fucking life.
Yeah. No, if you encounter like a goth girl, like a goth mommy who's like really sweet in customer service, always appreciate her.
She was like trying to upsell me at the counter. There's a thing they had like these like peppermint candies for the holiday season. They were trying to upsell me on, and she did like this fucking like magic hand wavy thing over them. Like, we have these like 3 for $4. It's like, ooh. It's like, you are too good to be working here.
Women can be pretty mesmerizing, especially when they care about like the job they're doing or the people they're interacting with.
We did have at that Cracker Barrel while we were eating our lunch, there was like a 60-year-old man who was clearly like, you know, worked on a fucking oil rig type of guy, sat at the table next to us enjoying his food and watching brain rot TikToks at full volume.
Oh boy.
Like, I heard the fucking actual, I don't even know, like, it's every brain rot sound compilation type of like TikTok. That he was like full volume just there watching it. Interesting time.
Yeah. Well, on account of my schedule for today, I suppose that brings us to the end of episode number 46.
It does.
We'll see you lollies in the next episode, huh?
Maybe we don't say lollies.
Okay.